Hello and welcome to another Budget and Leggit video. Now we have a 2019 VW T-Roc and we're going to do a full service on it. Now when I do service videos, what I'm basically trying to show is just, you know, how you can kind of do like the simple filters on your own. There is certain things that you're not going to be able to do on your driveway, especially with modern cars, unless you don't have, or unless you have the proper equipment. And then people say to me, oh, that's not a proper service, you haven't done this and this. I'm only showing people what they can kind of do at home. These are the filters. We've got all genuine Volkswagen parts, because, you know, it's still under warranty, this car. It's basically brand new, and you know, it needs to be all the correct parts. And everyone always asks me, you know, what's better, the genuine parts or the aftermarket parts? It really does depend, because the genuine parts are a hell of a lot more expensive, but they're designed for the engine properly. I know on a lot of filters case, especially on diesel filters, the genuine filters have a lower micron filter in them than the aftermarket ones, which is better for your engine, but they can be 3 times more expensive. So it's difficult to say. I mean, yes, main dealer parts 99.9% of the time are better, but you pay for it. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. We've got the correct long life oil, all the correct filters, and we're going to show you basically how to do all this. And what I'm also going to show you is just, I'm not going to show you everything, because I do a lot more than what I show in my videos, and it's difficult to show everything. One, because it's just going to be too long and boring. And two, I do a lot of stuff for my customers that, you know, I've spent a long time building up, and you know, my customers get the best job and possibly I can do. And so I'm not going to show everything, just kind of the simple things that you can do on your own. I'm going to show you some of the equipment I'm going to use, which you're not going to have, but it just gives you an idea of kind of what extra I go to. Right, I realise that, you know, the DIY guys aren't going to have this, but this is basically what separates us. And, you know, we have to have some sort of separation, else there's no point people coming to the likes of us, if that makes sense. I'm not dishing on the DIY guys whatsoever, because at the end of the day I'm making this video for them. But, you know, things like what I do is I boil the brake fluid. Even on this new vehicle, I don't just test it, I physically boil the brake fluid. This is a Hobby Tools brake boiler. When we test the antifreeze, we use a refractor, not just antifreeze test. This is the best way of testing it. And obviously, even though it's a brand new vehicle, I'm still going to check the battery, the alternating system and all that. And then I can give the customer a full report on the engine. You know, we do compression tests, we do relative compression tests and all that sort of stuff. Just because I can. And then I know the condition of the engine, whether the car is new or not. And I can tell the customer if there's any issues coming up. So I use the Dytex iScope for the relative compression test and all that. And like I said, you know, I know where the engine is. I can tell the customer if there's any issues I can see, then, you know, we can get it sorted. Now, obviously, I'm expecting no issues or no major issues with this, because at the end of the day, it's a brand new vehicle. It literally is brand new. So, but you never know. You just never know. And rather than being accused or blamed or anything, I do all this and then the customer knows. So I'm just going to go through kind of, you know, the simple things to do. Even things like the scan tool or like the oil filter. Sorry, the diesel filter. You know, I'm gonna turn the scan tool on to actually prime the pump. But again, most people are not going to have that. So what you do is you just fill this full of diesel, and, you know, you kind of prime itself rather than having scan tools. So you know, there's ways around it. It's just with these type of tools, it makes my life easier. It's more professional, and the customer gets a better job. When you're doing it on your driveway, you're doing it for yourself. It's completely different to paying someone. So that's what I'm trying to get across. I hope you understand. Sorted. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is going to get it to operating temperature. Obviously, I'm not going to show things like, you know, testing all this, because you're not going to have the tools, and I've shown in other videos. But I am going to be testing the, you know, the coolant level, the brakes. I'm going to be making sure they're topped up. I'm going to be going through the whole car, making sure the braking systems and everything else is fine. Like I said, I'm just going to show you kind of the basics on what to change as soon as this bad boy has heated up. Do is take this cover off. We've got a load of T25 Torx on the side, and then T45 Torx there to remove this cover, and then the dog can see the rabbit. We're underneath. Now there is a few issues, and I've moaned about this before. I don't like these covers on the sump because the problem is they're like a sponge, and if you've got an oil leak you won't know until maybe it's too late, unless it's really, really bad. But that could be dripping for a long time and you won't know. You won't physically see anything on the floor. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. But it's in all of them now, but that's just my thoughts on it. And I really don't like where the oil filter is too. All these wires have to be moved. It's just in a really awkward spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my my drainers and everything, and then we're going to start draining this. We'll drain the oil filter first and then the oil out the sump. Sorted. Right, so what you have to do is just unclip these wires, push them there, push this pipe back. It's a 32mm, and then just take it off. Now I'm not going to be able to do this and film at the same time because I'm using my phone. But once I get it off, I'll show you. Sorted. Right, there's one thing to bear in mind. It's not actually straight. You can see the angle of my ratchet there. So don't put it in thinking it's going to come straight down, because straight down is way over here. So it is at an angle. Don't try and force it because you'll break the housing and then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And yes, there is special tools you can use to stop the oil kind of going everywhere. They're not that necessary, it just makes it a little bit neater. But if you've got brake clean, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, if you watch my videos, if there's a specialist tool or a gadget, you can bet your life, I've got it or I want it. Sorted. Right, this is why it's important when you get a vehicle that's still under warranties. As you can see, it's actually marked on the filter, VW, where obviously the aftermarket ones are not. Even if they're made in the same factory with the same people, they won't be marked. So that's why it's very important to use the correct ones, because if there is any issues, they cannot say anything to you. And as you can see, this has all the proper marks on it. It should all line up with that one, hopefully. Now, funnily enough, this one has the marks the other way, but it doesn't matter. It still has the marks on the opposite side to that one. And you can see the actual difference in colour, even though as soon as I put this in, it's going to be black. But anyway, yeah, sorted. Right, so there we go. We've got two O-rings we need to change. One on here, one in there. I've already done that. And there we go. That's the new filter on. A little bit of cleaning up here to do. Bang that on. And then we'll drain the oil. But again, there's no point me showing you on doing that and draining it. Once I've drained it, we'll fill it up and we'll go from there. Sorted. Right, we're ready to put it down, but whatever you do, don't put the cover on until you've put the oil in and until you've ran the engine. Even sometimes run it up and down the road to make sure you've got everything okay and there's no leaks, because if you've got the cover on, and even this can hinder you, there might be a leak and you might not see it and it could cause a lot of damage. So have it as bare as possible so you can drive down the road, or you can start it, you know, leave it ticking over or whatever, so you can actually see if there's an issue and catch it before there's any problems. What I like to do is take the oil cap off first. And the reason why I do that is so if you get distracted and someone rings or someone comes in, you have to leave for an hour or whatever, you might forget that there's no oil in. So I always take the oil cap off first before I drain the oil. So that means when you're looking at the engine, you might think, hold on, there's something not right there, and it could refresh your memory. So that's kind of important. Also, I just like to do one thing at a time. Don't try and change your diesel filter and do your oil at the same time, because these can be a nightmare to bleed. You want the engine to be able to start to lubricate up, and then do your oil filter, then do your air filter, then do blah, 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 blah. It's just easier and better, and it just can save a lot of complications. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to fill this full of oil. Again, there's really no point me showing you filling it full of oil, but once I've got the oil, and then we start it, because the oil filters are going to take a bit, leave it to sit, re-dip it, and then top it back up full of oil. So once I've done that, we'll continue. The rest of it off. I know this can look dirty on the outside, but believe me, it's not dirty on the inside. And that's the oil specification. Where is it? Get the glare off it. I can't. There we go. For this particular car. Someone's not happy outside. Now just let me start this and then see how much more I need after it takes on the filter. Right, now for the air filter, T25 Torx. Again, don't need one of these, it's just a lot easier and a lot quicker than anything else. Oh. I think that's it. We get the new one. There's the old one. Don't forget, you can use an airline, you can hoover, just get all the crap out of there. There was nothing really in this particular one. That's the old one, that's the new one. Again, look, it has all the marks on, so if anything happens, because you got to remember, this is under warranty. If anything happens to the engine and they take an air filter off and it doesn't say that on it, even if it was nothing to do with the air filter, and let's face it, most probably isn't, they will say, no, this car's not under warranty, and then the customer has lost, you know, God knows how many thousands. So even with the genuine stuff, they can still have an issue, but they can't really say too much, so that's why you have to do it. Right, now for the diesel filter, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T20 little bolts, which are here. And you can see it says when you actually tighten them 5 Newton meters. Now most people are not going to have a torque wrench to go down to 5 Newton meters. I do. I have one that goes from half a Newton to 5 Newtons. But anyway, not everyone's going to have that, but it's not really that important. You just tighten them down. Click, click. Now what we can do is you can now, dog can see the rabbit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the new filter and I'm going to get a container and let's just get this out and drained. Right, and what I like to do is just leave it there draining. You can see this is the new one. You can see it's got all the actual marks on it, which is good. Now, they do say that these can do 50,000 miles. Seriously, people, no. Just no. You can see the colour difference. And this is only done like 17,000 kilometres or something, this car. And they say it can do 50,000 miles. Just no. Just no. Only takes one fill of bad diesel to destroy this. Replace it every time you do a service. Just honestly, you're better off. So I'm just going to let that drain. I'm going to then suck out all the diesel in there, clean it up, put this down. Now, like I said, once it puts down, what you can actually do is, I'll show you once I get there, you can physically pour diesel in through this little hole until it bubbles up. If you don't have a computer, or if you have a computer, what you can actually do is you can prime the pump. If you leave this completely empty and you try and start it, it's just not going to start. Sometimes they do pump the diesel in. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's just so easy to pour the diesel down as you're putting that one in. So I'm just going to wait for this one to drain off a little bit, and then we'll do that. Sorted. Much difference, but I'm going to show you. We've actually got torque wrenches that goes from 0.1 newtons all the way up to 1500, I believe I've got. Or is it 2000? Anyway, I've got it all the way up. And this is one I'm going to be using for 5 newtons. And yeah, so there we go. Everyone always moans about me. You don't use torque wrenches. No, 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 no. Well, there we go. How many of you are going to have a torque wrench that goes 5 newtons? So how many people are going to be moaning at me? You're not using torque wrenches. Right, when you're doing this, you can see our new filters in there. What you have to do is make sure that this is definitely in the middle there. Now, it takes a bit of pressure, so you line it up and it's not fully down, and then you have to kind of push it down. And you have to really make sure it's completely down, solid, because then it will make the correct seal. If you don't do that, and you don't push it down flat, it won't make the correct sealing. It'll be sucking in air and it'll never ever start. And you'll keep taking this off, it'll be full of diesel, and you won't be able to work out why. It's because it's sucking in air. So we're going to get that tied down now, and then we're going to bleed it and start it, and then it's done, sorted. That's back on. There is other ways of doing it too. You'll see little arrows. This is an arrow coming in and coming out, so this is from the tank. What you can do is take this one out and put the sucker on there and suck it, so until once diesel starts coming out there, you know this has to be full. So there's multiple ways of doing it, but you need diesel in there. Then this will start, and then we can check everything just to make sure we've got no leaks, it's not leaking, it's driving okay. Then once we know it's driving okay, there's no leaks, we'll put all the covers back on. Right, everything is done. It's taking it for a drive. It's all good, no problems, drives nice, no leaks, sorted. But as you can see, we've got all this kind of crap on it. And there's a trick that I'm going to share with you. Now, you do have to be careful because you want to make sure when you do this, you completely wipe it all off. You don't want it to stay there and collect dust. But it's called, I call it, a bit of bullshit. And all you do is, you spray some stuff all over, right? Like, you know, and then you give it a clean. We'd take it all off, and I'm just spraying a bit of bullshit because it doesn't do anything apart from make it look a bit cleaner. No one's ever going to look there, so it's spraying a bit of bullshit. There we go. So I'm going to do all that, make sure it's all off so it doesn't leave any residue behind, and that's it, people. A bit of bullshit sorted. So there we go. Hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.